Hi, and welcome to my video. If you have any feedback or ideas, please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Hello there. I saw you looking a bit lost in the common room. You must be new. Welcome to Ravenclaw. Isn't it wonderful? The windows have the very best view of the stars, and the tower is high enough that the rackspurts hardly ever float up here. I think you'll like it once you settle in. Oh, you look a bit disappointed. Were you hoping for a different house? I can understand that. It can be hard when things don't quite go the way we imagine. But you know, the sorting hat has a funny way of seeing things in us that we may not see in ourselves just yet. It's almost like it's got spectre specs on, spotting all those little special parts of you that might be hiding. Ravenclaw is more than a place for people who like books and cleverness. We're all sorts of things here. Dreamers, inventors, a bit mad too, some might say. I, for one, think that it's rather wonderful, you see. In Ravenclaw, we're free to explore all the odd, peculiar, and wonderful ideas that pop into our minds. It's not about being perfect or knowing everything right away. It's about curiosity and finding magic in places that most people might overlook. Like the dust patterns on odd bookcases, or the odd shape of a moonlit shadow on the floor. So, even if this isn't where you expected to be, maybe it'll surprise you. You might just find that Ravenclaw suits you better than you ever imagined. And who knows, there might even be something about you that we need. Something that makes our house shine brighter. Oh, if you ever feel uncertain, remember that the eagle knocker at the door will always give you something to think about on your way in. It's quite comforting, really. And plus, it's nice to have a little friend to talk to, even if it's just a knocker with a love for riddles. But I don't know much about you yet. So tell me, what kind of things do you like? I find people have such fascinating interests. Some people like Quidditch, and others like to collect really unusual things, like bottle caps or thestral hairs. Oh, or maybe you found something you're curious about here already. There's a lovely tapestry on the third floor that's rumored to show different constellations if you visit on the right day. I think you'd like it. Do you have any favorite creatures? I'm quite fond of moon frogs myself. They're lovely little things, though hard to spot in the daylight, but I imagine you might have a favorite of your own. Maybe you haven't found one yet. That's alright too. Hogwarts is a wonderful place to discover things about yourself you didn't know were here. It's alright if you're still finding your way. There's no rush. I think you'll find lots of people here who'll be as curious to know you as you are. So, I think the common room's empty. It's quite cozy in there, and I'd love to hear more about you. I think Ravenclaw will be a little bit brighter with you around. Oh, did you see that? There in the corner. It's a little too quiet in here. That means one thing, I think. Nargles. You know, Nargles are quite mischievous, you see. They like to steal shiny things and hide them in places you never think to look. Like behind paintings or in the pockets of coats. It's nothing to worry about, though. They don't mean any harm, but they do have a way of making everything feel a little off, don't they? You'll feel a chill down your spine or hear something that's not quite there. It's all they're doing. This is what I use to keep them away. It's a mixture of crushed unicorn horn and a bit of powdered moonstone. Keeps them at bay. Well, most of the time. You'll just sprinkle a little around and they usually leave you alone for a little bit. Never be too careful. Sometimes they sneak into classrooms and like to make things disappear when no one's looking. Like socks or notes. You notice anything yet? Anything odd? Some people say it's just the wind or a draft, even a bit of overactive imagination. I've had my fair share of Nurgles. They never seem to be shy about making their presence known, so I always keep my spectre specs handy, just in case. They help me see the invisible ones that hide in the shadows. There, that should do the trick. Now, if you feel any shivers or sudden sense of dread, just know it's not you. It's them. But we're safe for now, I promise. Now, where were we? Oh yes, I was asking you about your favorite creatures. Have you ever met a crumple-horned store snack? They're quite elusive, but I'm sure you'd love them once you get to know them. Or maybe, do you think you might have a favorite magical creature now? Something you've seen at Hogwarts, perhaps? Oh, I know just the place we should go. Instead of the common room, follow me. It's a bit of a walk, but I think you'll love it. It's where I go whenever I feel a bit out of sorts. Sometimes the creatures there just seem to understand things better than anyone else. This is it, my little sanctuary. I like to think of it as a place for creatures who want a bit of peace and quiet. They can be a bit shy, but will sit here very still and they'll start to come out. Look there. Do you see the bowl trucks on that tree? The little tree guardians. Aren't they charming? They're ever so protective of the trees they live in. If you offer them a twig, they might come closer. And if we're lucky, we might see a few moon frogs. They like to come out when it's quiet, especially when there's a bit of starlight on the water. Oh, there's one there, hopping by that little stream. Their skin shimmers like the moonlight, doesn't it? It's quite beautiful, really. I used to come here often, whenever I was a first year and felt out of place. The creatures don't mind if you're a bit different. They quite like it, actually. Sometimes I feel like they understand better than most people ever could. And I think they're a bit curious about you, too. Oh, look. It's so rarely those are seen around here. Isn't it wonderful? Most people don't believe they're real. But here it is, right before our eyes. That's the crumplehorn snore snack I talked about. You must have a bit of magic about you to bring it out like this. And not just wizarding magic, I mean. You see, sometimes magic isn't always about spells or potions. It can be about being open to the world and letting it surprise you. That's what Ravenclaws do best, We see things that others might miss, and I think you have that gift too. I hope we get to spend much more times together over the years. I think we could grow to be friends. It's getting late though, so we ought to head back to the Ravenclaw dormitories before someone gets upset at us.